Can you see my screen?
Yes, I see it.
Can I start?
Let me check. Okay, it says it's now live. You can start.
Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Yang Kim. I'm an assistant professor in mechanical engineering department here at Wichita State University. So today I would like to show you how we can try to do our effort to reduce the aerosol transmission in the COVID-19. Oops, sorry. I think this is not the slide I wanted to share. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. So today I'd like to show you how does your face mask can protect you and your family. So glad to see you all here, and I hope you enjoy my presentation today. So this is the outdoor air pollution. So if you are living in suburban area and if you are not living in the big city, you might not have experience to expose to the high concentration of the outdoor air pollution. And this is indoor air. The most of the time we stay in indoor environment, and the building works their job to protect us from the outdoor air pollution. However, because of the COVID transmission in this situation, even in indoor environment, we might need to think about how we can protect ourselves from the pollution or COVID kind of the particles in the air. Okay, so what is indoor air and why it is important? Because indoor air quality is important because sometimes because of the high concentration of the chemicals or because of the high concentration of some pollution indoor, you might can have the headache or you might can get sick because of this kind of pollution. And also sometimes you might have a problem with your respiratory problems. And at the same time, in this pandemic, the very important thing is even in indoor environment, there is a possibility that you can get sick. So what are the indoor air pollutants related activities? So I want to introduce you the general information first, and then I'd like to discuss with you to show you how we can protect ourselves. So in your home, like when your families are cooking, you might smell the food smell and it's really good and warm, right? Feeling. However, sometimes you can burn up the something. Then if you burn up, what will happen is there is a lot of smoke generated from there. So sometimes you need to open the window to release those kind of pollutions, or sometimes you need to do some kind of cleaning activities to remove those kind of things. And the other pollutants are, for example, I know like candles. So if you burn the candles, the smell is really good, right? However, sometimes the candles generate a lot of particles. So from the indoor air quality researchers' point of view, there might can be the one of the pollutant. And also if you have another incense sticks, the smells really good, but you can even see the smoke, right? So that's also another indoor pollutant. And you can see there is someone is sneezing. Have you ever thought about the sneezing? How many particles are generated while you are sneezing or coughing? So when you are sneezing, and if you are not cover your face effectively, this is the feature how it looks like. So you might sneeze and you might can see a lot of particles are generated from there. And these particles are really small, so that's why you cannot even see them. However, they are in the air. Then you might be curious, okay, so we are sneezing and we generate some particles with the like water droplets. Then why that is related to COVID transition? So this is one of the results from the COVID like transmission cases in South Korea and Chinese study. And they found out that in one space, for example, in South Korea, they are tracking the number of people in the space, and also they are tracking if someone got infected. They are tracking who got infected from the same place. So in Korea, South Korea, they have really good system. Then they can track the patient's previous locations, and then they found out that in one Starbucks building in second floor, when they don't have any windows or any ventilation system, and when people are stay in the same space with one who got COVID, they found out that like 56 COVID cases in South Korea has been linked in one location, which means in one location, when they are talking each other without face mask or when they are eating while discussing, and if they don't have any ventilation, like if they don't have any outdoor air coming into indoor environment or those kind of activities, the small particles in the air while we are talking, while we are sneezing, is like stay in the air and move around and then make others feel sick. So there is another similar case in China, Chinese study, and there in the one restaurant there is air conditioner unit, and they have really strong airflow. So one patient was here, and however, even somebody who was sitting in different tables, they got positive. However, they found out that most of them are staying in same airflow area. So the other people who stayed in these places, they didn't get infected, which means in the small place, if someone doesn't cover their like spread, and then if one patient just talking and speaking and coughing, they can make others sick. So that's why people found out that maybe the outdoor air is helpful to reduce the particles in the air and also helpful to reduce this COVID spread. Then you might be interested in that, then why and how, what is the particles and what is generated while we are talking. So while we are talking, when we are coughing and breathing or speaking, there is a particles are generated while we are doing those kind of things. And this is some other researchers finding that the particle generated a lot in certain range. So for example, this is the particle size. So when we are coughing, there is really small particles are generated. And then that kind of things you cannot even see because it's really small. But if the instrument can measure them, we can see how it works, how it seems looks like. So some researchers found out that when people are coughing and sneezing, around like 100 micrometer range and smaller than 1 micro range, when people are speaking, a lot of particles are generated smaller than 1 micrometer range. However, when people are just like coughing or sneezing, a lot of particles are in larger size range. Then you might be curious, okay, so I'm talking about the particle, then we cannot see that. Then how it looks like? So actually your hair size diameter is 50 to 70 micrometers. So you can see them, right? And the PM 2.5 means 2.5 micrometer size or smaller. So this is like the smoke or some kind of the small combustion particles. And what is 10 micrometer range? Is the dust and mold. So they are usually like 10 micro diameter. So even though you cannot see them, they are in the air. And also when you are breathing, they are really small enough. So they can go into your mouth and they can go into your nose to make you sick or impact you. Then how can we remove them? So think about the ball. So if we assume this is a really, really small ball, then how can you remove them? If you think about the tennis ball or some kind of the baseball ball, then when we want to capture them, we can have really large nest, right? So if the nest net hold is smaller than our ball, tennis ball or this ball, they can capture them. And how then if the small particles like 2.5 or smaller, like COVID transition, the particles from our mouth, I mentioned that they are really, really small. Then how can you capture them? And how can you remove them? So, like we use the net or nesting to capture them, we might want to do some kind of similar approach to capture them. So that's why a lot of people and a lot of like researchers suggest that wear your face mask while you are staying with some other people in indoor environment or when you are in outdoor. If you need to talk to somebody else, we suggest you to wear face mask. Then you might be curious, do they really work, right? So I mentioned that these COVID small particles, when we are talking, when we are like speaking, the generated particles are really, really small. So we cannot see them. Then if we wear this kind of mask, can they capture them? You might be curious and you are have a doubt that they really work. So the why we suggest because these particles, if this mesh is small enough to capture that particles, they can actually capture. So even though while I'm keep speaking, I generate some small particles from my mouth. However, I wear face mask. So this face mask can still capture what I am generating. So today I want to show you that how it works and how we can measure whether they are actually working or not. So this is kind of the strategy that, so for example, if I wear the face mask and if I generate the particles from my mouth, and then if I measure the generated particles from my mouth, then I should put some sensor, right, to see the small size particles, how many of them are there or how much of them are there. And if I want to see whether my face mask can capture what I'm generating, I need to also measure something from outside of the face mask. So I should compare the particles inside of my face mask and also outside of my face mask to see if this one actually captures the particles I generated. So today what I am going to show you is we have a pipe kind of thing and we blew the air with generated particles. So today I am going to generate the particles and then show you the result with the graphs to show you how it looks like. And then I put the face mask in between these two pipes. So if the air is coming in with some kind of particles, then this face mask can capture them, like we use nest to capture the tennis ball. And how we compare this works or not is we measure the number of tennis balls, small tennis balls here, we push them, and then after the face mask is kind of after my face and mouth. Here, we also measure particle concentrations from there to see if this phase mask capture the particles we generated. Isn't it interesting? So this is the brief schematic I am going to show you, and I will stop share my screen and then show you the actual experiment. Okay. So let me move on to the experimental stuff here. And I will also use my cell phone to stream it. So let me introduce my student here. He is Pratik and he's master student in my lab. And then, and then he's going to show you very interesting study related to mask's work, how it works. So let me set it up. So let me introduce you about this. So this is the experimental setup. We set it up. Can you see my video? Okay, and this is the experimental setup what we are doing, and then what I am going to show you is without the face mask. So for example, how it works like is, I mentioned that we put the pipe here, and actually we have a fan there. So fan is blowing the air into this environment, this pipe, and then we will generate some particles from this side. And then we put sensor here, where this sensor is measuring here, this point. And we put another sensor here that this sensor can measure the backside. So for example, if I put the face mask here, this will block the pores, like small particles. So you can clearly see the differences between the concentration here and here to see whether your face mask is working or not. And this one will show you the graph with the results. So I will come close to there later. So at the beginning, what we are going to do is we will show you the without the face mask, how the particle concentration looks like from here and there. Pratik, can you? Can you I will bring my laptop here. So. Can you see another video I am streaming?
Not yet. No, it's just a black screen with your cell phone. Oh, there I see it.
Okay, great. So is it large enough? Can you see this? Okay. So this one. Yeah. Can you see this?
Yes. Well, what am I supposed to see?
The graph on the monitor?
Yes, I do see those.
Yeah. So this one, I will explain you how it looks like. So left side one will show you the particles from the front side, and then right side one will show you the particle concentration from this side. So now my students just started to generate the particles and then push the particles into this pipe. So how it looks like is the particle is now traveling from there to pass through here and then here. So here you can see that the particle concentration here is increasing. And also the right side of the particle concentration is increasing as well. So both of them without any blocking system. So for example, I mentioned that here we didn't put anything. Therefore, the particle is traveling, and then that traveling goes to the here and here. So from both of sensors are showing that the particle concentration is increasing. So this is the particle concentration plot you can see. And this one shows the mass concentration. And the green line shows about the PM1, which is 1 micrometer particle concentration. And 2.5 means 2.5 micrometer size particles. And then blue shows the 10 micrometer particle concentration. So since we are generating particles and then push them to travel to this pipe, you can see that the particle concentration from the front side and the back side, both of them are increasing. So let's wait about like 5 minutes to see how they are increasing. Okay, so yeah, they are increasing and drawing the plots. So before we start to generate the particles, the particle concentration was here, like almost nothing was there. However, after my student is generating the particles, this one go up very fast, about like 2,000 microgram per meter cube, which means we have a lot of particles in the air inside of the pipe, and then they are like increasing very fast compared to this. Okay, so let's stop generating particles, and then we want to so we want to see how it shows, and then so today I am going to show you two different face masks. One is the very common face mask you can find from any store, and one is another type of face mask with the like cotton and some kind of thin layer. So I am going to show you both of them, how they they can change our plots here. So for example, now both of them are increasing a lot of the concentration, and since we stop generating particles, they are decreasing as well. So we will make this decrease until it comes down, and then we will put the mask and then generate another particles to test it. So use like yeah. So now we disconnected the pipe to clear up the inside of the pipe, because since we generate the particles, the inside of the pipe has some kind of the particles with them. So we are now removing these particles first, and then we will show you another experiment. Yeah, use the scale. Yeah. So now I'm going to install this face mask. You can find this from any market very easily, and then see if this one is actually working or not. Are you excited? Okay, so how we are installing this is because we are usually wearing like this, right? So I will put it like this, and then this one will go between these two pipes, and this pipe is holding this face mask here. This is the then these pipes are holding this mask between here. So what we are going to do is we are going to generate the particles from this side, and then this particle is coming to here, and then see if this one works as a net to capture them. And then we are going to have another sensor backside to see the particle concentration differences between here and here. And you can see the result from here that I mentioned that this one shows the front side result, and this one shows the back side result. So if we, before we start, they have similar peaks. However, if we put the face mask and if we start generating the particles, how it will work, the result will be coming soon. So now my student is generating the particles. Okay, so since we start to generate the particles here. So the particle is coming here, and then it will captured by the face mask here, and then this one will move to the end, and the result will show here. So you can see that this graph shows the front sensor before it meets the face mask, and this one shows the backside sensor after it hits the face mask. So now you can see that the particle concentration is starting to increase from the backside sensor, and this side the particle concentration doesn't go up that much from the backside sensor. So when you compare this part and this part, you might can see that, oh, maybe the face mask is blocking some particles. So let's wait another 5 more minutes to see how it works. So you can see here from here that, so after this point, we install the face mask, and then we generate the particles. And since the particle is traveling through the pipe and then it hits the face mask, you can see that before the face mask, the sensor pick up a lot of particles in the air. The sensor can measure, oh my gosh, there's a lot of particles. And then from this side, you can even see that there is almost nothing increase on backside sensor. There is some a little bit increase, however, the face mask works really good. So that's why compared to this previous graph, so previous graph without face mask, front side and back side, both of the particle concentration goes up a lot. However, after we install the face mask there, and then there is almost no generation. And a lot of generation, however, after face mask, there is no high peaks. You can stop the generation. So now we stop the particle generation and wait about like 5 minutes to see how the graph is changing. Because even though if there is no generation, because of the airflow and still existing particles build up inside of the pipe, the inside and outside, before and out, the particle concentration could be different. So let's wait to see how they are changing. So this graph was before we put the face mask, and this peak is also before we put the face mask. And before we put the face mask, from front side of the sensor and back side of sensor, both of them have really high concentration. However, after we put the face mask to block these particles, here the particle concentration goes up a lot, and then now we stop generating particles, so it's reducing a little bit. And backside, they have a little small one. And it seems like compared to this high number, it's nothing, right? Which means the face mask, which you can find easily from the store, they are actually working to block a lot of particles. So I know some of you guys wearing the face masks from the market, and some of you guys are wearing the face mask like handmade or made like the cotton type of the face mask. So it really depends on the fabric, and it really depends on the small nest inside of this fabric. So I want you to show the another face mask and how it works. So, I will take it. So let's wait another like 1 or 2 minutes to clear up inside of this pipe so there is no particles inside anymore. So let's wait like another few minutes to reduce the particles going down. Okay, now we have really like more concentration on backside and front side. So I'm going to put this sensor, this face mask to see how it works. So you can see the pipe right between here. So I will put this face mask like this and then make them hold for our experiment. And you can see that the sensor is still here and here. So now my student is setting up for generating the particles. Okay, so when you compare these graphs and these graphs, this first peak, we didn't have face mask from before and after. Both of them have really high concentration. And after we put the face mask, you can buy from market, any market. It's high concentration from front, however, low concentration from back, which means that one works really well to block most of the particles. And now we put another face mask. It's made with a cotton and some kind of fabric. So we just start to generate the particles. So you can see that the particle concentration started going up from front sensor. And back sensor still has really low concentration. So let's see how it works. Now the sensor before the face mask started to increase its concentration, and the sensor after the face mask still have really low concentration. Yeah, like the previous experiment, this face mask has the front sensor pick up the particle concentration a lot and it's increasing very fast. And like the previous face, previous mask, this mask also increase very slowly. It increases concentration. However, when we compare here and here, their concentration,
There's no one in your contacts matching Chloe.
their concentration here and here is really different, right? And the interesting thing is that compared to the face mask you can easily buy from the market, the backside of the concentration from the cotton mask is increasing a little higher and a little faster. What does this mean? Maybe this means the fabric we use for that face mask doesn't have really good like the nest, so they cannot hold or they cannot capture a lot of particles compared to the face mask what we can easily find from the market. So it really depends on the material what we use for the face mask. Yeah, that's increasing. Okay, let's wait another 1 or 2 more minutes and we will start particle generation. Okay, so let's start particle generation. And then I will show you like about 1 or 2 more minutes to see how the graph changes. And in the meantime, we can see our understanding that without face mask, both of them pick up a lot of particles. However, with face mask, they will increase a lot from the before face mask. However, after it's a little small. And the another face mask with the cotton fabric, that one concentration goes up a lot, and this one goes up slowly. And however, compared to this face mask, that one doesn't work pretty well. Then you might be curious, okay, then how can I use or what kind of face mask I should use, right? So let's talk about this from the slide. So I will stop showing the experiment and then I will show you the result from my other computer. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoy the experimental stuff I showed you today. And then I will share you another presentation file to wrap up today's class. Not class, today's activity. Yeah. So, yeah. So this is the way we can measure the filter efficiency to see how effectively they are capturing the particles. So for example, this one is concentration from the back side, and then this one is concentration inside the front side. So when we compare these two concentrations, you can see how much of the particle can be captured by your face mask. Okay, then how you can select. So this is information from CDC. You can find this information from the website. And I just briefly want to introduce you about this one. So you should choose your face mask that have 2 or more layers of the washable or breathable fabric. So for example, the face mask I use from the another cotton type, it doesn't have that much layer. It has only one layer and the inside very thin fabric. So that's why it doesn't have really great pores for the particles. And how you wear is you should completely cover your nose and mouth. Because I know a lot of people, they wear face masks like this. But actually the problem is when you are breathing, you breathe small particles with your nose. I know it's not that comfortable, but this one is really helpful to protect you from the particles. So please wear it correctly and fit snugly against the side of your face because if it has a lot of pores, then the air can go into here and then you will breathe that air. So it should not have to fit very tight, but it has fit snugly enough so you will not have a lot of rooms to get the air from side or some other places. And what kind of mask you should not wear is made of the fabric that makes is hard to breathe. So for example, entire vinyl. I know some people use that kind of things, but if it's hard to breathe, it's not good for your health. And you should have when it has acceleration valve or vents, so that will allow the particles escape from your mask and then coming in. So we don't recommend. And the healthcare workers face mask. So for example, including N95, some kind of the surgical mask, those are for healthcare workers. So please try to save some portion for our healthcare providers. So we can use washable face masks so to protect our environment at the same time with us. And the gaiters and face shields. So for example, I know some people, they just put the one thin layer. And if you wear this kind of things, we suggest you to fold and make at least 2 layers so they have enough meshes can capture the particles. And if you need to use the face shield, I know, however, with only face shield, that is not actually blocking everything, right? There's a lot of room, you will get the air. So you should aware these kind of things as well. And I know some special situations like children, if you are really young or some kids, if you are able, try to find a mask for young kids one. And if you can't find a mask for children, try to fit it snugly and do not put on children younger than 2 years or old. Okay. And this is the way how you how to wear the face mask. I mentioned that you should cover entire your nose and mouth secure enough and fit snug against to the side of your face. And this is how not to wear a face mask. I know some people like wear it like around your neck, and I know some people no, not on your forehead, right? So, and I mentioned that not like this. This one you will breathe a lot of particles, and not on your nose only. So if you are speaking, then you will just generate particles, and not on your chin, and not dangling from one ear, not on your arm. Please wear mask on your face. Okay, so that's all for today's session related to the how does your face mask protect your family. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can feel free to reach out me. I am an assistant professor at Wichita State University in Mechanical Engineering Department. My name is Yang-sun Kim. You can find me from our website and reach out to me and ask me any questions or your concerns. Or you can even reach out to EYH in Wichita State University. And also, let's say thank you. Pratik, can you come here? Yeah. Let's say thank you to our expert in experiment. He helped us to show how it works. So let's say thank you to him. Thank you, Pratik. Yeah, and that's all for mine.